Woe to you of earth and sea.
Welcome to Satan is My Superhero, a show for atheists, scoffers, heathens, and unbelievers. I'm your host, Judas Falling. In this episode, we begin our journey to understand the cross between a Ken doll and a Labradoodle that is Joel Osteen by going back a generation to see where he comes from.
He was made in the same factory that produced Kenneth Copeland. That's it. We figured it out. Let's move on to the next episode.
In 1939, as war was flaring up in Europe, a 17-year-old John Osteen found Jesus.
Found him?
Then spent the war years completing a bachelor's degree at John Brown University and a master's thesis at Northern Baptist Theological Seminary.
And before you ask, no, a seminary is not a place where you deposit semen. At least, that's not its intended purpose.
John proved to be a successful young Southern Baptist pastor in and around his home state of Texas. In 1954, he married his second wife Dodie and they started popping out their 5 children. All 5, along with his son Justin from his first marriage, would grow up to be involved in the ministry in one way or another.
I think nepotism is disgusting.
It's gross.
I would never do it.
First daughter Lisa was born in 1958, and John said,
When our little girl was born, we saw immediately she was not a normal child.
What was so abnormal about Lisa?
She was the first Osteen born without a tail.
Osteen's biography claims Lisa was diagnosed with cerebral palsy. In a 2012 interview, Lisa said her umbilical cord was wrapped around her neck, causing brain damage. Lisa's own website currently claims,
Lisa is a notable miracle of our day, having been healed of a crippling disease as a baby. Injured at birth, Lisa developed a condition similar to cerebral palsy which doctors said would cripple her and cause her early death. But as her parents prayed for her, God miraculously healed Lisa before her first birthday.
So not cerebral palsy, something similar. Using the healing power of Jesus, John and Dodie prayed away the vague, undefined, unspecified disease diagnosed by unnamed doctors.
Hey preacher, can your faith heal my amputated arm back on?
I really specialize in vague, undefined, unspecified diseases diagnosed by unnamed doctors. Do you have one of those kind of ailments?
No, it's just the arm I want back, really.
Pity. Thoughts and prayers.
Oh, you. You fuck-faced fuck.
Why is it important to call this crap out for the bullshit that it so obviously is? The implication here, as with all health and wealth gospel,
Health and wealth gospel is another name for prosperity theology,
is that if you have a child with cerebral palsy or any illness for that matter, it's because you didn't pray hard enough. You didn't give enough money to the church. You don't love that child enough.
Mummy, will you pray for me?
Not right now, sweetie. Mummy's playing Candy Crush.
In a video tribute to her dad in the 1980s, a 30-year-old Lisa said this to her mother Dodie about the cerebral palsy or cerebral palsy-like disease, depending on who is telling or when the story is being told.
I'm thankful that you and Daddy got a hold of God.
You've reached the healing hotline. We can't take your call right now, but if you really love your child, please press 1. If you pray every spare moment of every day, please press 2. If you've given large sums of money to the church, please hold, and a representative will be with you immediately.
By 1959, after witnessing the miracle healing of Lisa, John was becoming frustrated with the church's acceptance that miracles no longer happen. Osteen resigned his position and became an insurance salesman.
Tell me, John, do you have an experience selling insurance?
I was a preacher, so I know how to sell a promise that will never be delivered.
Less than a year later, Osteen returned to the Baptist church and began preaching a new doctrine that went down with the establishment like a lead balloon.
Listen, John, the church has spent 2 millennia distancing itself from supernatural spectacle we cannot reproduce. You start promising miracles, people are going to want to see results.
You guys have got this whole miracle thing upside down. We don't have to produce some extraordinary phenomena. We lower the bar on what qualifies as a miracle. You had a cold last week that didn't turn into pneumonia. Miracle! You got the green light. Grace of the Lord.
Cheapen the entire religious experience.
Yes, and charge more for it. I'll have my desk cleaned out by Friday.
John and his church agreed to disagree, and he struck out on his own. Founding the Lakewood Baptist Church in an old Houston feed store, he got rent-free from a parishioner. Targeting the growing charismatic movement within the Baptist community, Osteen would pull out all the blasphemous revival BS that permeates the word of faith movement, like healing the sick and speaking in tongues on the weekly.
Biggle boggle goggle giggle blue boo de woo woo.
I don't get it. What are you doing?
Well, believe it or not, idiots watch me do that, and then they give me 10% of their income. They hire me to marry them. They pay me to push their children's heads underwater. If that's not proof of a miracle, well, I don't know what is.
According to legend, the word Baptist on the church's sign was blown away in a storm, and with that, Lakewood became non-denominational.
Translation: John could keep all the money for himself.
In 1961, Houston real estate broker Fred Tones was shot 6 times in an orgy with 2 sex workers that went horribly wrong.
Whoa, this episode just took an unexpected turn.
The details of the case are pretty grisly, and I won't go into them here. The important thing for the purposes of our episode is one of these sex workers, Leslie Elaine Perez, was a trans woman. While they did have a plausible self-defense case, Perez and her co-worker Carolyn Lima tried to get rid of the body, and they did go on the run.
2 sex workers in Texas in 1961 didn't think the police would believe their story. How strange.
The Texas court in 1962 predictably did not care for the self-defense story and sentenced Perez and Lima to death. Perez's stepfather organized a public rally to have the death sentences overturned. Guest speaker and star of the show at the time was William Branham. Branham will get his own episode one day, but for now all you need to know is he is regarded by many as the father of the version of charismatic Christianity we suffer today and a great influence on John Osteen.
Thanks for the input, dickhead.
I couldn't find source material to back it up, but it is implied by the Branham archives that Osteen was involved with the petition and lobbying the authorities. What I did find was a letter written by Perez herself in 1962 in which she says,
John Osteen visited me in prison and talked to me through the screen. I told him I was in a cell on death row and how I hungered for the Holy Ghost. He helped me and he lifted me into a new state of mind.
As I said, Branham's biographers claim Osteen was involved at some level from go to woe. Whether or not that is true, there is no doubt he very definitely did administer pastoral care to Perez in her time of desperate need. We only have this one small example of humanity, and I don't want to oversell it as representing the whole in any way. I highlight the story not just for balance. Even lying dirtbags can do actual Christian things sometimes for no apparent financial gain. But I also wanted to stress a broader message in this piece of history. 2 sex workers, one of whom is transgender, kill a respected businessman in Texas in 1961. And it's the evangelical Christian leadership that come to their rescue. Can you imagine this story now, 60 years later?
The witch!
The influence of William Branham and others was undeniable, and the executions were cancelled just 4 hours before they were scheduled to take place.
Psych.
An appeal was successful and Lima was sentenced this time to 5 years, while Perez, who had at one point escaped, was finally released in 1971. Perez then went on to lead a very interesting high-profile life after all of that excitement.
Let's go, boy!
I'm going to take a short break from the show right now to talk about my sponsors and Patreon. I don't currently have sponsors or Patreon, but if you'd like to support the show, you can do that by buying my novel. It's called Chaos Machine by Judas Fawley. It's available through Amazon. You don't need a Kindle to read it. Almost any digital device will do. Don't forget, Chaos Machine by Judas Fawley. Now, back to the show. A factor that gets mentioned in the Lakewood story is its working-class location and appeal. Another important element to point out, once again for balance, both detractors and supporters of John have noted the multi-ethnic makeup of his congregation.
John didn't see colour. He saw money.
Over the next 3 decades, the charismatic conman's conniving, criminally contrived concerts of chicanery were becoming so popular that by the mid-80s, Lakewood had moved on from its humble beginnings and was located in a facility that seated 8,000 believers of a magical space wizard.
That's a bachelor. herd of dumbasses.
And Osteen's message was getting beyond Houston on Christian television all over the world. In 1982, John and Dodie's fourth child, youngest son Joel,
that smarmy-faced little turd,
began producing John's television broadcasts.
Great take, everyone. Love the energy. Let's just do one more because I forgot to push record.
In between all this preaching on stage and screen, John also wrote over 50 books with titles like
What to Do When the Tempter Comes, and There Is a Miracle in Your Mouth.
Are you sure those aren't titles from your DVD porn collection? Which, by the way, having a DVD porn collection is embarrassing on 2 levels.
In 1986, Dodie also published a book,
Healed of Cancer,
in which she claims to have been diagnosed with cancer of the liver in 1981. She alleges she rejected treatment to go home and pray the disease away. While in one short paragraph, she does make this disclaimer.
If you have cancer and you can be helped by chemotherapy, by all means, take it if you feel you should.
Dodie claims she never went back to the alleged doctors who allegedly diagnosed her with this alleged illness and allegedly only gave her weeks to live. In fact, she never got tested for this particular cancer ever again. She's still alive today, so...
It's in a book, so it must be true.
I feel I shouldn't have to point out how irresponsible and quite frankly psychopathic it is to make claims like this and then publish them in a 90-page book with font as large as Where's Spot. It took me 25 minutes to read the entire thing. It's aimed at a very specific IQ demographic. There's freedom of speech, and then there's outright fraud with potentially fatal consequences.
I'm confused, preacher. Should I do the chemo or not?
Have you left money to the church in your will?
Of course.
Yeah, I wouldn't bother with the treatment.
My favourite part of this simpleton's book is a section titled
God Did Not Give Me Cancer,
where she explains,
God did not put cancer on me. Jesus said it was the thief, Satan, who came to steal my health, kill me, and destroy me.
That's bullshit.
Also, where in Lisa's bio, she's not quite prepared to commit to an actual diagnosis for not being a normal baby and says,
developed a condition similar to cerebral palsy.
Dodie shows no such constraint and writes,
Our daughter Lisa was born with cerebral palsy and brain damage.
That's even more bullshit than the last bullshit thing you said.
Dodie then ends her books with testimonials from doctors who belong and tithe to her church. They all claim to have examined her and she is free of the alleged cancer. These are not the alleged doctors who allegedly diagnosed her with the alleged cancer in the first place. These are doctors that belong to a congregation and have written these testimonials 5 years after the alleged events they were not involved with at the time.
Hey, Doc, do I look like I have cancer to you?
Well, no, but I'd have to run
That's fine. Just sign this.
The money-spinning opportunity publishing provides was not lost on the Osteen empire, and in 1989, miraculously healed daughter Lisa published the booklet
6 Lies That the Devil Uses to Destroy Marriages.
Lisa herself had been married for a year when she was 22.
don't have to see your mom or see your dad or any of your stupid friends. According to my AVO, baby, this is where it ends. Hit the road, take a hike, here's your hat, get on your bike. I've even scratched your copy of Jolene. Welcome to Dumpsville, population U. Welcome to Dumpsville, God, I'm sick of you.
I had a skim through the booklet. It's only 43 pages in huge font, so it didn't take long, and it's disappointing to say the least.
How disappointing.
Here are the 6 devil lies a sheltered Christian woman made up to explain her broken relationship from nearly a decade earlier.
Number 1. God's word doesn't provide healing for marriages. 2. You need to start all over. New partner, new marriage. 3. You married out of God's will. 4. You've been hurt too much to love again. 5. Your marriage has to end in the case of adultery. 6. My mate is a sinful unbeliever who will never change, so our marriage could never be blessed by God.
Wow, that was even more detached from reality than I expected. No one would ever say any of those lame things. You want the 6 lies I would tell you to destroy your marriage? Okay, here goes. 1. Always be completely honest about your partner's appearance. Always. 2. There is something fundamentally wrong with your relationship if your partner won't give you all their passwords. 3. It's okay to access your partner's social media accounts and post as your partner. 4. However your partner stacks the dishwasher, be sure to do it the opposite way when it's your turn. They will appreciate the diversity. 5. Always start important conversations during your partner's favorite show. And 6. Read Lisa Osteen's book during lovemaking.
In 1990, Lisa was working in the offices at Lakewood opening mail when a pipe bomb exploded in her lap. Thankfully, her injuries were only minor. Now look, I poke fun at these people and their imagined medical maladies, but I do not condone violence, and no one, not even an Osteen, deserves to have a bomb explode in their face.
You say that, but I guarantee you have exceptions.
I mean, I still think they're all criminals and should actually be in prison.
I really mean it when I say...
You fuck-faced fuck.
They are liars and frauds who promise mentally challenged people eternal life in a fictional paradise for money. If I sold you a holiday that did not exist in a place that was made up, they'd put me in prison.
Podcaster Judas Falling was arrested today for selling timeshare apartments on the planet of Zibba-Dibba-Dee-Bop in the galaxy of Snee.
3 months later, another bomb went off in fellow televangelist Pat Robertson's mailroom, injuring a security guard, Scott Sheepers. Both bombs were of similar design, packed in similar boxes and posted from the same state, so you can pretty safely assume they were from the same perpetrator, who, by the way, has never been caught.
Eric, are you making pipe bombs again?
No. Mum, can you call an ambulance?
Howdy, it's the Reverend Steph here. Most of the music in this episode was supplied by the comedy disco punk band The Genuine Hoots of Joy. If you want to hear the songs in their entirety, check out Hoots of Joy on YouTube. You might recognise the lead singer. Okay, it's me.
In 1999, John Osteen passed away after a heart attack at the age of 77.
Maybe the miracle cure machine was at the shop that day.
While John lay on his deathbed, he asked his most favoured son to take over the church.
Son, I want you to take over my life's work.
Me? Really? I couldn't possibly be a preacher. I dropped out of Bible school. Most people think I'm a dope. But then again, maybe I'm not the loser everyone thinks I am. Maybe I can do this, especially since I know you believe in me.
Oh, Joel, it's you. I thought you were Justin.
And that's where we'll leave our journey towards the Joel Osteen we all know and are nauseated by today. I have to say, I was surprised. I knew we weren't going to have the sexual improprieties and over-the-top opulence we see in so many prosperity preachers, but I didn't anticipate domestic terrorism and death row appeals on the behalf of a transgender sex worker.
That was unexpected.
Here's a quote I've taken out of context from that video tribute we talked about earlier.
Pastor John Osteen has kept that vision of reaching the unreached and telling the untold, building a church where more than 10,000 people are being touched each week.
And that's why Satan is my superhero. If you've enjoyed this episode, please rate, review, subscribe, you know the drill. But more importantly, please recommend this show to just one person. I mean literally one person. Choose that person well.
I think nepotism is gross.
I'll try that one again, but without being flat.
You start promising me...
Now, hang on. I got to do this again, so it's like this. Right, okay.
Zibbidi-bidi-bee-bob.
What is John doing?
The church has spent 2 millennia distancing its... I'm just going to do normal.
Okay. Oh, fire truck you! You fire trucking, fire truck-faced fire truck!